Hi everyone, welcome back to AFTV and welcome back to the Tactical Insight Show. It is a different setting for us because we are doing it from home, which is a bit of a shame. Sorry I can't be with you in person today, Graham. But that's the beauty of technology. We're still here to discuss a crucial win. But first and foremost, as always, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, mate. It's nice to be back with you again after missing the West Ham performance last week. So yeah, looking forward to breaking it down today.
Yeah, do you know what? I always enjoy doing content for AFTV and I always enjoy doing these shows, but it's not the same doing it without you. And people in the comment section as well, they say, great work, James, but we miss Graham. And I do appreciate that. But just give us your quick, brief thoughts on the West Ham game. It was mightily impressive from Arsenal, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was probably our most complete performance of the season, James, against a genuine top four rival. I think we played West Ham at the right time. They did have a few injuries as well, and I think the season's starting to catch up with them a little bit. But for all that, I just thought it was a complete, intense, aggressive, high energy level performance. And I think we are getting very good now at targeting weaknesses of sides.
Yeah.
We expose them on their left-hand side, their makeshift left back, and also their weakness at centre back. And I think Lacazette in the last two games has been instrumental in both victories, and he had a big say on that night. Not only in his through ball for Martinelli, which we're going to show again today when we talk about Martinelli, but in the way he generally sort of occupied those two centre halves. I just think that we are a team growing in confidence, and now instead of we've moved away from the old defensive, slightly timid Arsenal to this more aggressive Arsenal, and I like to see that, and it was replicated again on Saturday.
Yeah, I completely agree. I know you always like to throw in a little Tottenham joke at the beginning of the show, but I think I've got one for you. The breaking news has just come through. The Spurs have been knocked out of the Europa Conference League after having to confirm a forfeit, not being able to play their game against Rennes. So we thought they'd even be winning that, maybe, but that's not come through for them. In fairness, they looked quite good against Liverpool, so I'm not going to go into.
No,
and of
I
course,
haven't got I haven't got a Tottenham joke lined up today, but anybody looking for that last minute Christmas gift for your Tottenham, if you've got a Tottenham fan in the family, there is that new DVD out, COVID Champions, which is a good stocking filler. And I think I saw something online over the weekend that something like we had more shots at goal in the opening half against Leeds than Tottenham had in the whole of September.
Wow.
Which is quite interesting. But for all that, yesterday, I thought I was very impressed with the way that was a fantastic game of football yesterday.
Yeah.
Take aside all the VAR controversy, that was a fantastic game of football. And Tottenham, certainly, Antonio Conte has certainly changed them. And they're going to come into the reckoning for top four. Harry Kane, as usual, seems to get a pass when it comes to fouls and not being dealt with appropriately. And some guy on Twitter last night retweeted something I tweeted 2.5 years ago when Robertson put a tack. I thought, Christ, he's using my tweet from 2 years ago. But but yeah, I look. So I think Tottenham will be a threat, and if they keep getting their fixtures cancelled, he's going to keep training them, getting them up to speed before the next fixture, isn't he? But so.
Yeah, they look good against Liverpool. Look, I mean, we can banter the whole Europa Conference League thing, but they did look good against Liverpool. And
but to be honest, James, just one thing that was their best chance of winning a trophy. I think they're 5,050 days now without a trophy, so that was it's a great chance this year winning a trophy, and it's gone. Isn't it?
There you go. Well, hopefully I'll stay alive because we do have the Carabao Cup quarter-final coming up against Sunderland on Tuesday night. Let's get into this game. And as always, when needed, we apply context. That's one of the things I like about this show. We don't just go hammer and tongs into the numbers and elated when we win and devastated when we lose. We like to look at the context. And this very much is here. This set of numbers I'm going to bring up here. The Leeds first team injuries, which, as good as Arsenal were, it's crucial to acknowledge this factor.
Yes, it is. I think, a lot of people I know were calling for this fixture to be called off for the simple reason that Leeds had 9 of their 25-man squad unavailable. And, of course, teams were getting games cancelled on Saturday due to COVID. because they had not a lot of players available. So you could argue that Leeds had an argument for getting this game called off, and two of those players are key to the way Leeds play. Bielsa is a fantastic coach, but it's a man marking, high pressing. Formula he uses a lot of running around. Those players have to be incredibly fit. Phillips covers a lot of space in midfield. Bamford leads the press. They are key to their team. But to have 7 of your players out while your opponents, Arsenal, went into the game with an unchanged team for the 4th consecutive game. I think we lost Sambi pre-match to COVID, actually. But basically, the difference was stark there going into the game. Arsenal, a team on the up, who won their previous 2, able to name an unchanged team for the 4th consecutive game. Leeds, 7 players out, 9 of their 25 unavailable. That has to be massive in the context of going into any game.
Yeah, I completely agree. But the task for Arsenal was then to exert their dominance, flex their muscles, show their quality, and the match stats suggest they did, because these are some very good numbers: 21 shots to their 9, 12 on target across the game with 11 in the first half. It was a generally controlled performance, despite not having as much of the ball, although barely, but not having quite as much of the ball as Leeds. It's what we did with it.
It is, and I think that, also we did off it as well. I mean, we literally stopped Leeds from playing out. So Leeds literally couldn't get the ball over the halfway line for the whole of the first half. And I just think that we were very good in what we did. We're going to talk about the way Alexander Lacazette was crucial to it, the way he drew Koch out of the middle to create space in behind. We identified their fullbacks. We looked to isolate our wide players one-on-one with their fullbacks, and these wide players make diagonal runs into the space we created by literally putting their team all over the place. And it was a very intelligent use of that space by our front 4 players that I think was crucial in the way the game panned out.
You mentioned Lacazette there, crucial in both what he did defensively in terms of the press and his work ethic, but also his movement off the ball. Now, we've got 2 things to illustrate both those, because Lacazette, I think, has been a little bit of an unsung hero at times at Arsenal. I think you think Aubameyang came in so early into his Arsenal time, his Arsenal spell, and he's had to deal with kind of being a striker whose job is to bring the wingers in, / be a number 10, / do all these different things. And I think more often than not, he's been good for us. But he's starting to show when we now made him the main man, and he's starting to show it on a slightly more consistent basis. Let's start with what he did defensively very well. You sent me this, and I thought it was fascinating and really made the point that Lacazette contributed 30 pressures against Leeds, the most by any Arsenal player this season. 15 of those result in Arsenal winning the ball back, also the most of any this season. How crucial is he to what we do defensively and on the press?
I think he's absolutely massive, James. And I think he's working really well with these young players. It's what he delivers. He's able to drop deep. He's able to link the play. We've discussed that before. He praised Arteta on Saturday for the tactic in his post-match interview. But Arteta was very quick to respond and give credit back to him for his unselfishness. This is a guy who's at the end of his contract at Arsenal. He could be running it down, of course. He's probably not going to get an extension. But he is so unselfish in the way he plays the game, the way he brings others into the game. He's crucial to bringing the best out of these attacking young players we got playing behind him. He can play. He's played this year in the number 10 space, which probably doesn't suit him, but he's prepared to drop there for the team. He's pins himself up against centre halves to create space in front as well for Odegaard. He's able to drift all over the pitch. And I think the plan on Saturday, as much as all the pressures that he applied off the ball, was to clearly draw Koch over and out of their defence. He literally led him on a merry dance around the Ellen Road ground on Saturday. And this is crucial because Bielsa, who I think, if he reflects on it, as great a coach he is, probably should have given his team more chance in that game by being a bit more conservative. Asking young players to play the way they did with very little knowledge of the way each other play against a team who understand perfectly what they got to do on a pitch was always going to only go one way. But for all that, Alexander Lacazette was key to everything that Arsenal did on Saturday. The way he drew that centre half out of position to create the space. Yeah,
let's illustrate it.
Yeah.
let's illustrate it, because you know, we move the 11s into kind of what a build-up shape sort of looks like, and it's always that Lacazette's fairly level with Odegaard, in fairness. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's that drawing the man and allowing the space for Martinelli to attack.
And yeah,
You
he
know,
allowed. Yeah, he. Sorry, James. Yeah, that diagonal into out run from Martinelli was key that we use quite a lot now in games, and Lacazette's pivotal to that, and also Saka the other way, creating the space in front to Odegaard to operate in the pockets. It's key what he does to do all that. So yeah, I think this was a complete performance by Alexander Lacazette on Saturday.
yeah, he was terrific. Now let's talk about. We've got a lot of detail to go through with all of them, but let's talk about who I'm calling the Fantastic Four, starting with Gabriel Martinelli, because he gets his 2 goals. Here are just some of his numbers just to kind of illustrate how he did on the day. 100% shooting accuracy, fair play, 9 touches opposition box, obviously 2 goals, gets a brace. But he looks so mature, doesn't he? For a young, was he still only 20 years old? I think he looks so mature. For what he's doing. His first goal was just, credit to Lacazette. He keeps it alive because it looks like it's broken down, and he's very good at just getting there in front and keeping it alive. And Martinelli, I think, with that finish, has just said, there's a space, and I'm just going to hit it hard because I've not really got time to do much more than that. And he puts us 1 up, and I thought he was brilliant on the day.
I think his intensity, his energy levels, his direct running, everything that what the team was about. This was his first brace for the club in his 39th appearance. He scored our 7,000th top flight goal on Saturday, which since the 7,000th top flight goal since the league started in 1888. So that's great numbers. In the last few games, his role in the team, he showed his versatility, James. If you think back to that Newcastle performance, when he came on, he scored a goal making a run off a defender on the right-hand side. The goal against Man United was from the other side where he drifted in field to find Odegaard. Then he scored goals from central positions, which we're talking about. And he makes this into-out run from right to left to get inside his man from the other side on the left-hand side. So he's scoring goals, understanding what he has to do, understanding of space, understanding when to make his move so well for a young player. Our 3 young players on Saturday who scored our goals were all 21 or under. And that really does augur well for the future of the club.
Yeah, absolutely does. Let's look at that second goal, because credit to Granit Xhaka, I thought had a really good game. His ball into Martinelli, superb. And then Martinelli's actually still got quite a lot of work to do. But when you think he's maybe had a bad first touch, he just keeps it alive. And you said that out to in run. There's a couple of things I want to say on this. Firstly, it's worth a real mention. I thought Granit Xhaka had a really good game. We don't credit him enough because, to be honest, there's probably not been too many moments this season. He's obviously been injured for a lot of it. The red card at City, then the injury against Spurs. But I just want to mention, I thought Granit Xhaka was superb against Leeds. And it's a lovely through ball. Through balls were back. I hadn't seen through balls for so long, but I think the way Leeds were playing were really encouraging Arsenal to try and go direct in that way. The other thing I wanted to mention is when Arsenal fans kept saying, why is Aubameyang playing on the left? Why did he keep playing him on the left? That was what Arteta wanted from him, was that out to him. He scored a goal against Everton. Do you remember it? The David Luiz pass. I remember you breaking it down on Tactical Insight with Robbie, 2 years ago. And it was that run out, out to in that, the Sterlings of the world, the Leroy Sané was so good at doing under Pep Guardiola. Gabriel Jesus does it now still for them. But it's such a weapon when the players got that timing right. And it's not an accident because, as I'm going to show here, we saw it just a few days before. Again, this time it's Gabriel who finds Lacazette, but again, it's that same pocket of space and Martinelli's off. It's a good touch to take him away from the defenders, and then he's in and scores. And as you mentioned, the Newcastle goal as well, where Tomiyasu picks him out from over the top. It's not an accident. It's coached. It's designed.
It is coached. It's such a hard run to stop for the opposition. So, and I agree with you. I think that Aubameyang's problem moving forward, as I said to you when we were talking before we came on air this morning, it's not so much Arteta, it's Martinelli, isn't it? Because all of a sudden, from nowhere, he's exploded on the scene, and he's playing so well, doing the sort of things, as you said, that Aubameyang, when he was on that side, used to do, and that Arteta saw the role for Aubameyang doing. So, yeah, he's taken his chance, mate, hasn't
he? Yeah, I agree, and he looks. Whether it's crediting Arteta with this, I like to credit Arteta. It might just be the fact that he's matured as a player or worked hard behind things. Whatever it is, Martinelli looks at this is the best version of Martinelli I've seen so far.
Yeah, I will give credit to the club. Everyone's been saying we need Martinelli back in the side. We need Martinelli back in the side, but we're not on the training ground. We're not looking at his medical numbers, and they've obviously now see that he's ready to come back in. They've waited deliberately. They haven't rushed him back because they didn't want to throw him under the bus. And I think that's really clever management. All the fans love him. I know Dan Potts loves him, doesn't he? And always goes on about him and wanting him back sooner. But I think the club have handled it really well. And I think the benefit is now there to see we're reaping the rewards.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mentioned the Fantastic Four. Let's go through numbers 2 and 3 because they got the third and fourth goal. Smith Rowe and Saka. Obviously, Saka slight deflection on the goal, but he just looked a threat all day. I thought he was terrific. And then Smith Rowe comes off the bench and he just keeps doing what you can do when you come off the bench, which is, I was asked by Cecil after the West Ham game, does Smith Rowe deserve to come in? And I said no, because the three are doing their job and he's got to just keep doing his job, which is coming off the bench and scoring, and his opportunity will come again. But they were terrific again as well.
Yes, I think Saka had, I can't remember the exact stat, he had a number of shots at goal on Saturday in that first half. He literally got the better of Dallas on that side every time he was up against him. The Leeds fullback he had him on toast for the whole of the first half. His clever movement, the way he glides across the pitch. I think what I enjoyed watching on Saturday is the way the players all sort of like they glided across the pitch, understood space so well, when to go in what direction. There was clearly clever patterns to the way we played and built up. I think Saka was excellent. Obviously, Dallas was no match for him on that side. I think Martinelli had the beating of the right back all day long. And I just think Alien was struggling to cover space. I think what it did, the way we played, is their two centre mids were literally having to cover holes for the whole game, trying to cover holes and failing. I just think it was down to clever movement, attacking, understanding space. The aggression, the intensity now, we're literally on the front foot from the start of games. And that's good to see.
Yeah, I agree. And then I mentioned the Fab Four. So let's end on the fourth. Martin Odegaard. We've actually done his numbers because when you're ranking first and all these things, it's only right that we actually point it out. And also because he's been good. I think he's been playing well for a couple games now. And he's maybe not got the mention he deserves on this show. Martin Odegaard, he's coming into his own, and his assist for that Smith Rowe goal was... I know this is a cliche that gets thrown around. If Ozil, played that pass, we wouldn't hear the end of it, and rightly so, because it's genius. And if Odegaard can just add those more of those moments where you think, that's why you pay the money for a number 10, because you don't really think anyone else in the squad can do that. It was a real moment of quality, and he was very, very good on the day, wasn't he?
He was. That final goal we scored was a fantastic weighted pass for Smith Rowe just to take into his stride and drill into net. I would also give credit actually to Lacazette, James, in that move, because Lacazette, if you watch it, pulls two of their defenders to the right-hand side, which enables Odegaard to get that little bit of extra time and space to play the pass. But for all that, the weight of pass, I think he's growing now. He's getting better with every game. And I think he's a potential Arsenal captain now. I think he's going to come into the thinking. I really do. And I think he's making his presence stamped in the team.
Yeah, fair enough. He was terrific. All four of them were. Even Smith Rowe's cameo, they were fantastic. We're very lucky to have them. Let's do some round off stats discussions, just some final tidying up of what was left from that game. We've mentioned them, so it's only right that we read out this stat you sent me over, which is 13 of Arsenal's 26 Premier League goals have been scored by players 21 or younger, the second highest ratio by a side in a single season in the Premier League since Leeds in 99-2000. That's pretty good. That's a pretty
Incredible.
impressive stat, isn't it?
Unbelievable stat, isn't it?
I think we could be
I
very
mean,
happy about
we are a young team, and the good thing is that these players are only going to get better.
that. Yeah.
And that's the key.
I agree. I've got to ask you, bad moment for Ben White with the penalty. I'm not going to ask whether it was a penalty. I think it's pretty. That might be the most stonewall penalty I've seen all season. But he's got these moments in him, Ben White, where he goes to ground, he retreats to goal. I think Ben White's a terrific defender when it's about the press and on the front foot and intercepting and winning his headers. I think he's also very good on the recovery. But when it's defending the 18-yard box, that with the penalty area and the 6-yard box, I think he looks a little uncomfortable. Is it just me? I think I look at that moment when Rafinha cut inside, people were criticising Tierney for not dealing with it, but I thought Ben White just flew past him for no reason. I thought that was really poor, and kind of went unpunished. We mentioned the Palace moment. We saw he went to ground against Diego Jota at Anfield. I know I'm not trying to pile in on him, but I'm just trying to make the point that he's got these kind of rash, get to ground quite quickly moments, hasn't he?
He has, and I think that he had no need to dive in the way he did on Saturday. It was a clear pen. I think I will say that I thought on Saturday, that blemish apart, I think it was a fantastic performance by Benjamin White.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, I think the way he built our attacks from the back, I think Leeds, admittedly, struggled, sat off our centre backs a little bit, but I just think his presence on the ball is key to the way we build up as well. So, but I thought that blemish apart, I thought he was excellent on Saturday. You are right. But I think
it's worth mentioning.
You can always, James, you can always find moments in a season where a player makes a mistake. I can understand there's things in the game that probably need to be ironed out. But I think generally, if you look at the bigger picture with Benjamin White, I think he's been fantastic for us. His on the ball presence, the way he builds the play, his understanding, the way he draws people on and then plays the right pass, the fact he's able to see a situation and take us up the pitch. There's so much to like about Benjamin White. I think it'd be a bit churlish just to sort of like pick out that error. But you are right to show it and right to highlight it, because that's something that probably he'll want to eradicate from his game. But for all that, there's so much to love about the man.
I'm with everyone who watches me regularly on AFTV knows I love Ben White, and I think he is a class defender. I'm just mentioning it because it matters. It still matters, even though it was fine. We've got the fourth. It matters to Ramsdale to get the clean sheets. I think it matters to the club to get the clean sheets. I think, and I think generally, it's just a little bit of a recurring theme I've just seen a couple of times.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a fair point. Fair point you make, of course. I think I love the way Ramsdale came out and congratulated him on the tackle to try and fool the ref almost. It was a sort of brilliant piece of shithousery from Ramsdale, wasn't it? Really, to sort of try and fool the ref. And also, I love his banter with the Leeds fans, which was on social media. He's just a fantastic character, Ramsdale, isn't he?
I love the characters.
But for all that, he would have been gutted that Ben White gave up Benjamin White. You've got me calling him Ben White now, because people say, "Why does James call him Ben White? It's Benjamin White." So
I'm sorry.
But he would have been gutted that Benjamin White gave away that penalty, because that was his clean sheet gone, wasn't it? And Rafinha and we have been on this run of clean sheets. The defence has been so good, so it's almost like the fact now that we're sort of like finding little holes to criticise the team around this sort of thing shows how far we've come actually in the last few months, hasn't it?
Absolutely. But we're perfectionists. That's all I'm saying. And it's worth probably a longer discussion than I thought we'd have on it, but still worth discussing. But I agree, Ben White has been terrific for us, and I'm with you.
Fantastic penalty, by the way, by Rafinha. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a very good
penalty by him.
Again, For all those who think I've got an agenda against Granit Xhaka, I don't. I pointed out how great he was in the day. He was terrific, but I've got to ask, was he lucky not to get a red card?
It was a red card for me.
It
I'll
was
be
for
honest
me
with
as
you.
well.
It was a red card. It was not quite so much a red card as Harry Kane's, but a red card. And I think the thing with Granit is that he's got these sort of moments in him, hasn't he? For the life of me, what goes on in his head at times, we're 3-0 up, dominating the game. Why does he need to do that? I don't know. Only he knows. But you can't go into someone and make a tackle like that. It's just dangerous play. And he was so lucky to get away with that.
Couple
and another
bad
day,
moments, yeah.
Look,
couple bad moments
day.
that didn't cost us, but White and Xhaka were terrific on the day, and we've mentioned that, and I want everyone to hear that we have mentioned that. We were only having these discussions because they're important to have, but they were very, very good. But yeah,
you made James, just quickly. You made a very good point on the last show about the fact that they are now closer together.
Yes.
Fantastic point. That your average average positions in the game showed how it's working better between them now. And if anything, I think Xhaka is probably playing better than Partey at the moment.
Yeah, he is. I'd agree with that.
So and he's come back now. He was a bit rusty when he come back, but he's improving and clearly offering something to the team.
Absolutely, completely agree with that. Arsenal will be the first team since Wimbledon in 96-97 to lose their first 3 games of the season and still occupy position in the top 4 on Christmas Day. That's a nice one. We mentioned that Arsenal's 11 shots on target in the first half were the most by any team in the first half in a Premier League game this season. Arsenal generated a 2.8 XG in the first half versus Leeds, the most any team has created in the league this season as well. Arsenal had a 13 high turnovers versus Leeds, winning back possession within 40 meters, is that right, of the opponent's goal line. They last had more back in December 2013 versus Newcastle. Martinelli, as you mentioned, scored the 7,000th goal of Arsenal's history in top flight football, with Fabregas getting the 6,000th in 2007. And Martinelli is the first player to score 2 goals and create 5+ chances for Arsenal in a Premier League game since Alexis Sanchez in 2016. I think that's a fitting way to end, because I tweeted that I thought Martinelli reminds me a lot of Alexis Sanchez in the way he plays. And yeah, hopefully he goes on to have a career like him as well, but stays and doesn't go to Man United. That would be ideal. Graham, this has been great fun. Thank you so much for joining. I know we couldn't do this from the studio, but we managed to go through everything as normal. I think we've done okay.
You've done all right. Yeah, you've done really well again.
All right.
So we got through it. So this I really enjoyed the breakdown today. Look, we don't know what's going to happen in football over the next few days, do we? There's a big call for the festive program to be put on hold. Obviously, I don't know whether you know anything on that, where you see this is going. What's your view on it?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, I don't really know more, but I think we're going to. But whenever you're watching this, guys, you might have the news. But I think there's going to be some updates today, so we'll see. I know the Premier League clubs are meeting, but don't worry, we won't let you go tactical insightless. We'll do something, whether it's maybe a halfway season review or something. We'll do, or hopefully the games carry on so we can break things down. So whatever it is, we will bring you content. Don't you worry about that. Graham, thank you as always, mate. I really enjoyed it. Well done, Arsenal. A really good 4-1 win. A win that I think showed Arsenal flexing their muscles a little bit more in a way we've not really seen this season. We know the injuries were there for Leeds, but the question was, could we really take advantage, not just go and win 1-0 and pick up the 3 points, but actually score some goals and show our quality? And I think Arsenal did, so well done to them. Thank you, Graham. As always, if you enjoyed this video, do hit the like button. It always helps. Really, really appreciate all the support, as always, you guys give us in the comment section, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. More content coming your way, with or without football. We'll be there to keep all over what's happening. Thank you as always, guys. We'll see you soon.